Welcome back, crew, to Boats vs. Haulover. Man and machine take on Mother Nature, typically down at Haulover Inlet, but today we are way north, up in Fort Lauderdale at Port Everglades, and this is going to be a different one for us. I think this is the first time we've ever shot an episode of BVH over here at Port Everglades. This inlet's a lot different than the other inlets we cover. One, it's a lot busier than most of the other inlets we cover, and we get a lot of this. Like this captain here, you can see the Bohemian courtesy flag on his vessel, actually bringing his boat back from the Bahamas. Speaking of coming back from the Bahamas, have you ever thought about taking your boat to the Bahamas? If so, hang out till the end of this video because we want to talk to you. But we get a lot of bigger boats, a lot of commercial vessels, a lot of cruise ships, but it's a much wider inlet, making it a little bit easier approach. But let's see how our captains fare as they try and do battle. And this is going to bring us to the first round of our contest, and our first vessel to step in the ring and try and do battle with Port Everglades is going to be a conch. Now, Port Everglades, as we mentioned, is a little different than many of the other inlets we tackle, and this one's super wide compared to the other ones, which means a lot more traffic can get through at one shot, but it also means we don't have those heavy breakers like we see at some of the other inlets, so sometimes, especially on a moderately calm day, Port Everglades can be pretty easy to handle, especially in a vessel like this, and as we see, this crew shows that, taking a win for the boats easily in the first round. It's going to bring us to the second round of our contest with the boats up 1-0, and of course the boats are going to toss a ringer in the ring here in the second round as they're going to throw Freeman at us. Man, Port Everglades isn't going to stand a chance on a day like today, especially with a very capable vessel like this. This crew's got the throttles opened up, and they are literally just blasting their way right through Port Everglades, no issues whatsoever, and easily going to take a win for the boats here in the second round. Things do not look good. Port Everglades is in trouble early as they go down 2-0 fast, but here in the third round, things turn pretty quickly. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure what this boat is because by the time we caught it, it was already half underwater and we weren't able to make out exactly what the vessel was. But here you're going to see this crew is absolutely struggling. They were working to try and go out Port Everglades when the next thing they noticed, their vessel was taking on water and had to do some emergency actions and take themselves over toward the seawall to try and get off the boat. Here we can see we've still got one person left on the vessel trying to grab some items, it looks like, off the boat, maybe some emergency things or personal documents they may have had. Whatever it is, they're just trying to get it off, and now our last person's trying to leave the vessel themselves. We got somebody holding the line, just trying to keep the vessel against the seawall. Obviously, they're not holding the boat up or anything like that, but really just trying to keep it from moving. In an emergency situation like this, though, guys, one thing that does disappoint me a little bit is we saw a couple boats earlier through here come blasting through here, tossing a wake as this crew's trying to deal with this. If you see something like this going on, even if you're not going to go help, slow down to no wake so you're not trying to disturb them or make things more difficult for this crew as they're trying to pull off their rescue and hopefully not cause any extra additional damage to their vessel. Now our crew does eventually safely get off here and local authorities do show up. One of the things that's surprising to me is that it takes quite a long time, beyond this even, before the port authorities show up, because this is inside a controlled area in Port Everglades. But once again, everybody does eventually show up. They are able to get the boat semi-lifted out of the water to where it's able to be towed. But unfortunately for this crew, I mean, they didn't really get to tackle the inlet, but they are going to take a loss for the boats here in this round. And that's going to bring us to the fourth round of our contest. And here in the fourth round, we're going to feature a glass stream as the boats still have a 2-1 edge over the inlet. Let's see how this crew fares as they try and tackle Port Everglades. Now, this is a little more of a contest for Port Everglades. As you can tell, it's not that rough of a day out here, but look at all the vessels and things you see out in the background. Again, a busy port, but this crew kind of takes a pounding as they're working their way out. They do wind up making it out of Port Everglades. One thing we don't see here that does happen, though, is they don't make it much further than this, and they pull a U-turn and go back in. Typically, I would give them the win on this one, but because they U-turned it, I've got to give them the loss, and that's going to bring us to a 2-2 tie. So we move into the fifth and final round of our contest. Who will take the win in this episode? Will it be the boats? Will it be Port Everglades? Let's go. And here in the fifth round, the boats are going to toss a little gala in the ring to try and go ahead and see if he can close it out for the vessels. And my man looks good. He's got this thing up on plane. It's not the roughest day, a little bit rough for this boat, but he's keeping her moving, and things look pretty solid, and he's going to wind up taking a win for the boats in this one, which of course is going to give the boats the win in this episode. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Boats vs. Haulover. As we mentioned earlier, for any of you who have ever thought about taking your boat to the Bahamas, but always wondered how you could do it, well, we've got a solution for you as as we're going to be hosting our annual seminar on how to take your boat to the Bahamas at the Palm Beach International Boat Show this coming week. We will be there on Thursday at 5 p.m., we'll be there Friday at noon, and Saturday at 11 a.m. Feel free to come by, check out the seminar, or at least just stop by and say hello. Also, if you haven't gotten your tickets to the show yet, we're going to go ahead and give you the discount code right here on the screen. You can use to get a discount on purchasing your tickets to the show. So you should stop by and check it out. And speaking of checking things out, you should check out our other content. We have Wavy Boats, who does a bunch of great things down at the inlets. My channel, Broncos Guru, does some great comedy boating videos there as well. And of course, we got the Miami Boat Ramps channel that focuses on all the hilarity that happens at the boat ramps in South Florida. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.